talking. Good evening. This is Gabriel Raam, the founder of the Fifth Way, a way for consciousness transformation based on the works of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky, the Fourth Way, Zen Buddhism, and the existential movement in philosophy, but a lot of self-developed concepts and understandings that I made during my life. And today I'm sitting with people who are with me a year, working on doing personal development towards awakening consciousness. And we're having series of meetings on wide range of issues, not necessarily to do with consciousness, but the idea is to talk about everything from a consciousness viewpoint. A person who worked on himself and obtains a certain level of consciousness probably sees reality in a different way, and the purpose of these meetings is to give this view. Fine, shall we begin with the questions?
Gabriel, some people say that God is in the small details.
Pardon? God is in the small details.
What, do you think God is in the small details? Or why do they say so?
What do you mean by the question? I find it difficult to connect to what you're asking me.
I think that it says that if you look at the small details, you will understand something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, do you think that by observing things in a micro manner will bring me closer to God, or a bigger understanding?
I think I know what is the problem that I have with this question. It seems to me to be an intellectual question. I mean, I find nothing in me moves to respond to it. And if I give an answer, it will be intellectual, it will be cold. I wait for questions that will move me. And the best questions that will move me are questions which are coming from something which is moved in you. Things which are to do with just knowledge, trying to understand the mental aspect of things. It's a sort of masturbation. Now I'm looking for intercourse.
Yes. Okay. This question by Sarah. I will ask, why does women love to buy so many shoes and clothes, and why do they like shopping so much?
Well, you see that I like this question. Well, it's a true. Yeah, it's a true issue. I think it's true. I think this is horrible. I'm not saying it from a chauvinistic point of view that women spend a lot of money or that it's a stupid thing. I think that if I try to understand in depth the symbolical aspect of buying a lot of shoes and buying a lot of clothes, it makes me sad because I think I understand where it's coming from. Basically, women acknowledge the great importance of clothes and shoes in the effect of her outer appearance. I mean, everyone knows that even an ugly woman who is dressed and got a hairdressing and makeup and shoes on a high level which fits her would look probably better than a beautiful woman who is getting out of bed in the morning with a training suit. And I think the whole idea is that women are completely slaves to the need to be beautiful. And I think that totally subject to it. And I think what really obsesses their mind is the need to be as pretty, attractive, as beautiful as possible. I mean, the reason why they are attracted to shoe shops and clothes is because they believe that this will cause them to be more beautiful. That's the basically idea. And this is when they are with clothes. When they are without clothes, they are very upset most of the time when they see themselves in the mirror. No woman is happy with the way she looks.
So she goes on a diet and goes to the gym.
Well, yeah, most of the women, let's put it this way, fantasize on a diet, on a gym. But they channel their frustration about the way they look by overeating. But never mind. Most women, when they look at themselves, are very unhappy with the way their body looks. Why? Because there is a tyranny. Yes, there is a dictatorship about exactly what are the centimeters in every part of the body of a woman. There is a Barbie doll proportions. And the further away a woman is from these Barbie doll proportions, the more upset she is. Now, the clothes are fashioned in such a way to cause her figure to look more like the Barbie doll figure. Now, this is not the upsetting thing about it. The upsetting thing about it is that the Barbie doll figure is basically men's idea of how a woman should look. In fact, I'm not absolutely sure that this is the idea of heterosexual men. I have a suspicion this is the idea of homosexual men. But I think also heterosexual men want women to look as though she is 15. Long legs, skinny, to give them the feeling that they are themselves young and that they are dealing with someone who is helpless and young. It gives them a feeling of virility and control. In fact, the figure of a woman during the ages is becoming more and more and more slim. It's actually in the process of disappearing. Part of the way to control women is to cause her not to have a body at all. The over skinniness is actually a diminishment of her existence.
Because it was different in Middle Ages.
It was different in Middle Ages, and the natural figure of a woman is a wide shape. Men, in their wish to control and domineer women, are going against the nature of the woman and try to make her figure to look more like a young girl before she is a full woman, because it gives them a feeling of control to actually have sex with young girls. They can't really live at peace with having sex with mature women. The reason being that with all this wish for power of men, basically in themselves they are unsecure about dealing with real women. Real women is powerful women. Woman who is connected to the earth, who is Mother Earth by herself, who allows herself to be. And for a woman to allow herself to be is to spread herself to the sides, to be wide, to be accepting. To be for a woman is to be to the sides, to be wide. Man goes against that thing, and it's taking from the woman her wide base, and it's making her slim and narrow, putting her on high heels, with skirts which are very narrow, which causes women to walk in total imbalance, which causes women to feel unprotected, which causes women to wish to be protected by men. So the whole thing of the way women look is an ego trip of men, an over-dominance of men upon women. And women are doing nothing else but trying to satisfy the cruel fantasies of men. What do you think about what I said?
I'm shocked. I think.
How much of it is new? Or is it not new and you are still shocked?
It's not new, but I'm still shocked.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm shocked by the way you represented it.
What is in the way I represented which is shocking?
You showed how men are dominating women.
But what is in the way I'm showing you?
You're doing it very straight.
Very straight, okay.
You don't let any details.
Black and white.
I'm absolutely, as I listen to you, I'm in shock of how far away a woman's potential from what it is really is.
Totally. Totally.
It should be something magnificent.
To be a real woman is something really magnificent. And I think the way women are today is something poor, miserable, confused, full of self-guilt, and far, far away from the way she should be. I think at this day and age, we only have one gender, men. Women basically, in having presence, they don't really exist. Now, of course, there is women who are advancing in jobs and having important jobs and go to work. But what I'm talking about day and age which is very sophisticated. And all these things which I'm talking about is under the ground, in very hidden messages. It's a very clever day and age we're living, where men allow the women to feel that they are equal, where in the real realm is complete dominance more than ever. And there's one thing that needs to be understood about dominance. If men have been dominant, and they have been dominant through all the ages, then dominance never diminishes. Dominance always becoming greater and greater until it demolishes that which is dominant upon. Dominance never rests until it reaches complete and total depression of that which is dominant of.
So the feminism movement that women tried in the 60s made women act like men instead of connected to themselves?
Yeah, well, because men demolished so much true womanhood, women do not know what real womanhood is. And the only way they know to fight is to fight like men, but men fight better in a man way than women, because this is not the realm of a woman. And basically, feminist woman is an angry expression of frustrated woman, of not willing to take it anymore. But the only way they know how to do it like men. And in that, men are better. See, it's interesting if you think about the way a fashion model walks. If you go behind the camera and just have a longer zoom, I will show. You see, if you take a fashion model which is going on a
Catwalk.
what?
Catwalk.
Yeah, or going on the maslul, on the, never mind, in a fashion thing. She goes like that. Now, this is a very interesting way of, this is catwalk. This is a very interesting way of walking because she is actually tripping herself. She is putting a leg to herself like every moment she's going to fall. Now, this is in complete contrast of how male models walk. They walk like that. They are taking the whole range of their body. This walk is not a narrow walk like that, like you're walking on a road. She is actually collapsing inside herself.
sticks into the wheels.
So I think the situation is very, very sad. I suppose many women will see this and will say, well, where does this man live? He lives in the Middle Ages. We are no longer there. Today is different. And I'm saying, be careful. You see, what seems to be equality is cosmetics, which is hiding behind it lack of quality. For example, I'll give an example. If you take a situation where you have men and women talking, let's say 4 couples, 4 men, 4 women, and we record this conversation, and we actually check how long men talk, how long women talk. What do you think we will find then? Percentage?
70% for men and 13 women.
I think the same.
18.
You know, when I ask people in the workshops I gave, they say women
Women talks more. Yeah.
talk more, but it's not true. And not only that, each time a woman says something, the responses for women, towards women, is making a ridicule out of what she is saying. Making what she is saying small. Cutting a woman in the middle of a sentence. And men talk actually 80% of the time. Or the way women and men sit. It's hidden things. I mean, women sit like that. I don't want to disturb anyone. Men sit like that. It's a lot of hidden things. So the fact that it looks on the outside to be okay hides. Because the more on the outside it looks okay, the more the inside could be corrupted. And this is the danger of this day and age. There's a great gap between the mask and what's happening underneath.
So the only way to change it
Is for women to connect into the real womanhood in herself. And what women should do is give support and warmth to each other. The problem is that women, a lot of women are spying upon other women where they are, as though they are messengers of men, and they act as men upon women. I think they should draw strength from each other by giving each other real love and support, so that they can stand in front of men and not letting this abuse that men abuse women.
or men to understand they must stop abuse women.
Sorry?
Or men will somehow understand that they can't dominate women. Like
Never.
Okay, that's
Men will never understand that they will not dominate women. When someone is in dominance, he will never give up his dominance. You see, men are really frightened of women because they know deep inside that if women connect to real women power, men don't have a chance. Women are really, really powerful
The potential.
because the power of a man is in short explosions. The power of a woman is much deep and far-ranging.
There were any times in history that women controlled.
Yes, there have been. There are stories about the Amazons, and there have been a time, far, far in the distance.
But I think that at the moment that men realized that they're stronger physically, that's where it changed.
No, the point is that when the human race had degenerated,
Okay.
and the electrical soul aspect was, because women are stronger in the soul aspect, in the spiritual aspect. They belong here. This planet is a female. The moment human race deteriorated, then the physical aspect became more powerful,
I see. Okay.
and men became the leading aspect. Women represent real spirituality. The real way to grow spiritually is a female way. The way to grow consciously is through the yin aspect. The yang is totally dominant. And that's why we're living in such a physical existence. So in all this, still the question, why women like to buy clothes and shoes?
Yeah, you turned it around.
So I said that I will give the conscious view about ordinary things. And this is what I do.
Definitely did here. We talked about shoes and clothes, and we end up in a whole history of women and men and who's powerful. And
some women, when they hear me speak like that, say it's very strange to hear men talk like that about women.
That's what they said in the group that we did Friday. Said, we never saw or never thought that men could connect to their feelings. That's the transmission that conscience do.
Did we finish with this question?
Yes, I think so. Well, I was wondering about what you think about, can men behave more and be more like a woman and less like a man?
Connect to their feminine side in them, or
Can men connect to the feminine side? Again, I find this question intellectual. I can't connect to it. If you want to ask it to me differently, or I don't know.
Well, you talk about women in such admiration.
Admiration?
I think.
No. I don't talk about women. First of all, I talk about womanhood.
Okay.
But I don't talk in admiration. I talk about it in longing. I long for it. I desire for it. I think this is the real fresh water that can heal the soul, the thirst for something genuine and high. I think salvation should come from women. We saw what men are doing on this planet, and it's horrible.
absolutely destructive.
But the way women are at the moment, definitely nothing to admire. What women can become. The main thing is that they should really create small groups where they should give a lot of warmth and support to each other. This is the beginning.
There are certain groups that you always read in the internet, women's circles.
But there's a lot of poison that actually enters this group. It should be orchestrated in a way not to allow negative dynamic to be in there, and just to have warmth and support. We need to understand that most women have been crushed heavily, either by their father or by the first males they had relationship with, and they are coming broken, either full of guilt or bitter, but full of poison. And there needs to be a protected environment where women actually could be safe with each other, to heal from the wounds. And every woman has got wounds. There is no allowance for women to speak. How horrible was her life because of certain men she is meeting. It's all under secrecy. See, the more I talk, the more horrible it becomes.
Yes. I'm finished with this question.
All right. What is goal of it?